У нас нет.
She woke up choking and gagging, and when she stood up, blood ran out of her nostrils. This is a different time. She ran into the bathroom, and into the kitchen, and she was bleeding from the right nostril. Within seconds, her 16-year-old son and the house guest came running in the room bleeding from their right nostrils, and within seconds, from the other room, in came her other son and her husband. 5 of them, 2:30 in the morning, 5 of them were sitting around bleeding from the right nostril. That's what a skeptic would say, a mass hallucination.
Well, it began in 1978 when I was the first to begin the investigation of the Roswell incident, the recovery of 2 crashed flying saucers in New Mexico by the United States government, the intimidation of witnesses, the recovery of bodies, a major event in man's history. I began that research in 1978. The first book came out in 1980. In 1984, colleagues of mine received a roll of film in the mail. The film had 2 sets of 8 negatives each of a top-secret magic briefing for President-elect Eisenhower, briefly describing the recovery of the saucer near Roswell and the establishment of a group called Operation Majestic 12 by President Truman. 12 outstanding individuals, half civilian, half military, the first 3 directors of Central Intelligence, several outstanding scientists, and it was an astonishing document if it was genuine. And page 8 of that was the directive from President Truman to the first Secretary of Defense, James Forrestal, to proceed with Operation Majestic 12. For the last 12 years, I've been researching those documents and some others that have been received more recently. And it is my conclusion, after visits to 17 different document archives, to discussions with the surviving relatives, none of the original members were alive when the document was received, that we are dealing with genuine documents, and therefore the most important ever leaked to the American public. Because if they're real, they say the government has recovered wreckage of an alien spacecraft, recovered bodies of aliens, and have been covering it up for 50 years. That's rather a strong statement, as you can imagine. There have been numerous attacks on the documents, usually by people who don't go to archives. They look at typefaces and things like that, and they overstate reality. When you go to the archives, you'll find there are many different typefaces, many different date formats, other little trivial details.
I saw 2 other cases. One of it is still unknown, because it was an object flying around me, around my airplane. We saw this object, all the crew of the airplane, and that moment I was a civilian pilot, airline pilot. The second one has been very easy explained, because according to my information acquired by my friends, still in service, I understand that it were some laser. We have a laser system in Italy, and it was experimenting this system. And in that night, according to my informations, the atmosphere was so busy and so heavy by electromagnetic radiation by the sun, and this radiation, this electromagnetic radiation, were able to send visible this laser, and we saw, let me say, just like a football, the shape, just the moon, and were moving around the sky. And I told to my friends, this phenomenon has been was natural, because the Canon's experimental laser, just small movements on the origin were a large movement at 100 kilometers far away.
All the UFO are not, technically speaking, are not repetitive. Then we have a big problem, like a techniques, to consider one phenomena only happen at one time only. Then you have just a lot of material, but for one phenomenon not well repeatable in the study or in some part of the university and so on. Then you have to recollect all the information related at the phenomena and try to explain what happened. It's very difficult to do this technically speaking because we are not ready or prepared when happen some to have all the instruments with us for verified tests and so on. Probably now we are becoming in this way, but surely one question from my point of view is surely stressed, and this, what some happen in the sky, because a lot of people have seen a lot of light, a lot of some impronta, I don't remember what is the English name, some signs on the ground, yes. Some signs on the ground are present. There are some others information really practical, like a photo, like films, movie and so on. They are not mystification. That means some happen.
I've often wondered, what if